the Geek Legion of Doom, and welcome to a horror film from Bonnie, Scotland.
What dickhead.
Okay, so we're here to review the movie White Settlers. And this is an interesting movie because obviously I'm from England and she's from Scotland. So this film basically is about a English city living couple that decide that they're going to buy a remote farmhouse up in kind of rural Scotland somewhere. And it basically is an old house that we're told has been in this particular sort of family for generations, but it was kind of foreclosed due to financial reasons and what have you. So this couple buy this house with the intention of sort of doing it up. However, the first night they're there, they're kind of attacked by masked or assumed locals and terrorised, and then horror ensues, shall we say. So, as to the Bonnie Scott lass beside me, what did you think of this movie?
Crap.
What's that?
More crap.
Tell me why.
Because it was just slow start, slow to get into it. There wasn't really any, for me anyway, there wasn't really much suspense. I like a good horror film that, has you on the edge of your seat, and I didn't feel that with that film, unfortunately.
Okay.
I found the main actress, her character was obviously in the beginning kind of quite annoying, but then I kind of liked how I guess she kind of, came through in certain areas of it. But yeah, unfortunately not overly impressed by this movie.
Fair enough. This is apparently actually based on a true story. I actually did quite like it, to be honest. I thought it's obviously a very kind of low budget, it's a very low key story. It's not like a particular one that is big in scale. It's got a very sort of small cast. I actually thought the main couple had quite a good realistic kind of chemistry. I did think the male actor was a particularly great actor, if I'm honest. I thought the woman was quite good. I thought she really came across as quite a sort of genuine person. It does kind of fall into the trap of going into a few horror cliches, like walking around the house in the dark and not turning the light on, things like that. But I thought the chemistry was quite good. The other thing it does is a few kind of fake out jumps as well, and then eventually, obviously, the stuff really starts to happen. But it is a slow film. When you kind of break it down after you've kind of watched it, not a lot actually happens. It really takes place over one night, and in the grand scheme of things, there's not a lot actually happening. I felt like we didn't really get an explanation of why things transpired. I mean, it's obviously hinted at, but in a way I kind of like that, because you do have to sort of you kind of add the dots, basically, kind of connect the pieces. But I thought it was quite a tense film. I thought I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good, although it's very kind of low key. But it is kind of slow and not a lot happens. But I still kind of liked it. I mean, have you got anything else?
Oh, well, for anyone, I don't know if anyone's seen this, and I just told you this a minute ago, but this movie was actually released just before the Scottish referendum, so I don't know if you guys know about the referendum and obviously everything that went on and the voting and everything. So, if you read other reviews about it, there's the whole debate about why it was released, and the fact that it's essentially the Scots driving the English out of Scotland, and I don't know. I mean, I just found it really. Like I said, I mean, it's all fair and well you find it good. I didn't find any tension in it at all. It was meant to be a horror. There was no suspense in it for me. No jump scares in it for me.
Okay.
There was. I genuinely didn't find anything.
I thought there was. I mean, I disagree with you. I thought it was quite a tense film.
Really? I found it really boring.
But if you're watching from outside of the UK, what I was going to say was this is more akin to almost a bit like a kind of sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's type. I mean, it's not got the sort of like the inbreds and all that sort of thing. It's not really about that. It's about basically outsiders going into a small sort of rural community where they're essentially kind of terrorised, basically. And in that, I mean, the reasons for it are different, as kind of Pauline says, and it actually has a more of a political reason for that ultimately. but it still did remind me of that kind of you know, the sort of out in the sort of rural areas, kind of being terrorised by people who have lived there for sort of generations and are kind of you know, don't want the kind of the outsiders. So those films to me are all, because they kind of they these things can exist in our world, if you know what I mean. They kind of almost, I find them a little bit more tense than kind of like your more supernatural horror films, because this is stuff that, you know, can and does happen on occasion. So I do find it, you know, these kind of films quite tense, and you know, I enjoy this sort of supernatural films. These ones are, to me, I kind of like them, and you know, I thought this was a well-made film. Obviously, we have a difference of opinion here, but I actually thought it was, you know, well constructed. I thought it was, for the most part, well acted. It leaves it somewhat ambiguous. The one thing that does bug me, and I don't know why films do this, but they have a scene right at the beginning that basically is something that happens towards the end of the film, and it kind of, the problem is that when they do that, you're waiting, you know, that's going to happen at some point in the film. So anything leading up to that is just kind of a waste of time in a way, because you know at some point this situation is going to happen. And if you're not there yet, any sort of tension that might happen, I feel, is kind of diminished somewhat. But you know, this is not just film. There's a few films to have that kind of issue for me. But I don't like it when films do that.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh,
What was your score?
10 or 2.
2 out of 10, blimey. Okay, I'm actually going to go 7 out of 10. Ooh, so quite a big difference here. So who are you going to side with on this one? I think. So 7 out of 10 for me, 2 out of 10 for her. I thought it was a good kind of low budget but kind of fairly self-contained movie. How about you? Summary?
Slow movie. You know, again, I liked, you know, a few bits of the acting, but I get just a slow movie. I did like the end though. I will say that. I did actually like the end. It's probably not what you'd be expecting.
That's true. I did think, oh man, they're going to leave it like this, but actually no, they don't. And so it goes, it sheds a little bit of light on the antagonists that you may think slightly differently in a way. I would say. Yeah.
So I would definitely say, like, I like the ending, but other than that, it's just a really slow movie. Yeah.
So. It does kind of play with your preconceptions a little bit. Yeah. So there you go. Have you seen it, and which side of the fence are you falling on? Quite liking it or thinking it was rubbish? Leave us a comment, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.